my name is Emily Bjornson, and I will be doing a presentation on a critique of a leader's speech. So the first question you may be asking is, what leader did you pick and what speech? Well, I picked a speech that I know very well and was always interested when learning about history, which is Ronald Reagan's speech, Remarks at the Brandenburg Gate. So here's a picture of him performing the speech right there. So this was a very well-known and powerful speech. Today we will go through and critique this speech. This will help us show the strengths of this speech. We will first go over some background on the speech and then talk about the strengths as well. Background on Remarks at Brandenburg Gate. This speech, Remarks at the Brandenburg Gate, was delivered on June 12, 1987 in West Berlin by President Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan gave his famous Remarks at Brandenburg Gate speech at the Brandenburg Gate in West Berlin. At this time, the United States and the USSR were embroiled in a global power struggle, which resulted in a great deal of tension between democratic and communist countries. Many people at the time sought reunification of the West Berlin and East Berlin, and to end the Cold War. That is Remarks at the Brandenburg Gate speech analysis. Some more background on Remarks at the Brandenburg Gate. During Reagan's speech, he stood in front of the Brandenburg Wall. Let us first learn what the Berlin Wall has to do with all this. So here's a photo we have of the wall. Since its erection in 1961, the wall had both symbolized and entrenched the division between communist and democratic Europe. As Reagan noted, John F. Kennedy was the first U.S. president to speak to West Berliners, document 27. Reagan went much further than Kennedy in criticizing the wall. In the most memorable line of the speech, Reagan urged the leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, to tear down this wall. State Department advisors had counseled the president not to make this statement, believing it to be needlessly provocative. It was important to Reagan, however, to point out the reason for the wall's construction and continued existence. Soviet domination of the communist states in Europe, including East Germany. That is Remarks on the East-West relations at the Brandenburg Gate in West Berlin. Here are the strengths of Remarks at the Brandenburg Gate. Now that we have learned some background of the speech, let us go over some of the strengths of the speech. Even though Reagan was told not to say his now famous line, "Tear down this wall," he decided to say it, which made the speech very memorable and powerful. The topic of the speech needed a powerful speaker to deliver it, and I think Reagan fulfilled this role very well. This speech sought to bring East and West Berlin together, and the speech was powerful enough to aid in bringing Berlin together. In Remarks at the Brandenburg Gate, former President Ronald Reagan uses logos appeals, pathos appeals, and parallel structures in an effort to initiate the demolition of Berlin Wall and usher in freedom to the communist countries. Remarks at the Brandenburg Gate speech analysis. Reagan uses a lot of pathos throughout the speech to evoke emotion on his audience. He wants his audience to do something about the wall and the issues that they are facing. He uses logos by telling the audience facts of what is happening between the East and the West Berlin. Ethos, sometimes called an appeal to ethics, then is used as means of convincing an audience via the authority or credibility of the persuader, be it notable or experienced figure in the field or even a popular celebrity. So now that we know about ethos, Ronald Reagan was able to use ethos by just being the President of the United States. He lastly used parallel structure to show that East and West Berlin were both important and that they need to work together to fix this issue. Okay, here's a fun fact. The speech has been so memorable and touched so many people who have heard it. Even to this day, some pieces of the now broken down wall have been painted to show what happened and that we should reflect on the events that took place that day. It has been so memorable that some people have bought and now own pieces of the wall. This photo right here, as you can see, is a piece of the Berlin Wall, and it is in front of my city hall. And I also have a photo I took as a high school senior. I took a senior photo in front of it as well, but I could not find that photo. So I just have this photo of it in front of my city hall. Okay. In conclusion, overall, this speech was a great example of a well-written and well-delivered speech. Not only do people still remember it now, but I believe people remember it for years to come. In this presentation, we went over the history of the speech and showed how it was a strong and powerful speech in our history. Next time, I will want to present an influential speech and move an audience. I will use this speech to help me deliver it. Thank you. And here are my references.